and they're afraid of the administration.
It's true. Well, you're looking at the most privileged couch in America, according to UNC Chapel Hill. I think you're all right-handed, right?
I am.
Everyone here right-handed? Well, you guys are so privileged, it's not even funny.
You're right-handed too?
Yeah, of course. I do swing a golf club left-handed and a baseball bat left-handed because my dad taught me to swing it that way. He thought I would have an advantage. So maybe I wasn't all that privileged. I don't know. But according to the UNC Chapel Hill, this is not a joke. An activist gave a lecture to the fraternities and sororities about right-handed privilege. This is a real briefing. That is a real photo. And these are the real forms of privilege that were discussed, very importantly. It's easier. Here's the privilege you have. It makes life easier. It gives you a sense of belonging. Have you ever been like, oh, we're all right-handed? Right. Oh, man. The world is organized for right-handers. True. More access, more opportunity, more advantage.
So what should happen? So what would be the solution to this, right? So you see that the solution to people believing that white people have a more advantage is a reverse racism. So now what should happen to those of us that are right-handed that have enjoyed for decades for, this kind of advantage over our left-handed minorities?
I'm going to bring you a chart. I used to run campus reform before I came to the channel. And it's intersectionality is what they call it. And there's a web that shows you your privilege. Pete, sorry, brother, you're screwed, bro. You didn't need the right hand or you're white, male,
he's not just white, he's like
conservative. Yeah, you're done. Yeah. You're done. I mean, you're literally at the bottom of the totem.
You're
the most privileged.
So Joe Concha, our Fox News contributor, was asked about this last night, and here's what he had to say about left-hand oppression.
What are we talking about here? Critical hand theory? A professor is actually teaching this, Dan. Imagine, and you're a parent like me, paying 30 grand a year to send your kid to a school who hired a professor like this. If I'm paying that kind of dough, I'd like my kid taught things to actually prepare them for real life. And because, you got to look out for number one. Just don't step in number two, as the great Rodney Dangerfield once said at a graduation speech. But now instead, we focus on who has advantages and disadvantages, more opportunities, right-hand superiority, left-hand superiority. And by the way, if you're a lefty, and we're not talking ideology here, you have a great chance of being president of the United States despite being outnumbered 9-1.
It's so bad, guys.
That's such a great point that he makes, though. Sometimes your disadvantages make you work harder, make you find other solutions, and you end up doing better, right?
Yes. Tell that to James Harden.
Yeah. You
can't guard the guy because guarding a left-hander is impossible. Tell that to every left-handed pitcher out there. Tell that to Barack Obama. He's left-handed.
Yep.
I mean, it's why can't things that make you different also then make you unique? And you can acknowledge the fact that, say, rifles, in the military, the cartridges discharge out in the direction away from your face, built mostly for right-handers because that's 90% of trigger pullers. Well, if you put it in the left hand, there's an adapter that you put on the rifle so that the cartridges don't come into your... That's the way it works. You can't... you're looking
Pete
for grievances around every corner.
Pete is so polite that he's breaking it down, they don't care about that, brother. They're running out of categories, and I keep it, they really are, and so they got to add one every single year. The last thing I would say is this. Conservatives abandoned the college campuses for so long, and they continue to reinforce sending their kids to these college campuses. If you want this to change, then you got to support conservative universities.
Thank you.
Or don't send them at all. Help take that money.
We need to be
teach
better
your
consumers
child
of education.
How to be a business owner and take that money that you're going to send them to school and invest into
Stop sending them.
But there are some good ones. I was at the University of Dallas doing a college tour with my daughter. That was the school that told me, gave me a paper. Here is every book we're going to teach them. All students are going to take this. All students are going to take this. The good schools are not afraid. In fact, they're proud to show you what they're doing. It took me, this is now my third child, so it took me that long to figure out how to be a better consumer of education. I will not fund those schools. I will not give my hard-earned money for that kind of indoctrination and that kind of garbage. And I'm not going to say the word, but you know what it is.
Your daughter is leading the fight on the college campus right now, reporting on the stuff that is happening on the ground. That's important as well.
But it starts with us being better educated and better consumers of education. So
it's your right-hand privilege talking.
Yeah, that is. All right. Well, we're going to turn now to your headlines, and we begin with a Fox News